Hey everybody, this is Mrs. Baxter, and today we are going to be reviewing the coordinate plane, or our graphing. So let's label the following terms: coordinate plane, x-axis, our y-axis, our origin, and our quadrants. You'll see them also as Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. And then I will show you another way that we also talk about these quadrants. Okay, so to start, this whole thing right here is our coordinate plane. So I want you to write coordinate plane right here. So when you see this right here, this is our coordinate plane. All right, and then we always have two axes. The one that is going up and down is going to be labeled our y-axis. And a lot of times that relates to like height, for example, in the real world. And the one that is going to be horizontal or going from left to right, that one we call our x-axis. And a lot of times that can be something like time. So let me do this just so you have the example: height and time. Usually x is always time, y can be something like height or even money, something like that. And we'll talk about that more later in the year when we start doing some more real world applications. Okay, so when we're looking at our coordinate plane, one thing I want you to notice is we have 4 different sections here, and these are known as our quadrants, okay? And so this first one, I want you to notice, is in the upper right corner. This is quadrant number 1. And when you see quadrants, a lot of times they are written in Roman numerals. Quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and the last one is quadrant 4. This is how we write 4 in Roman numerals, okay? And one of the things that you will notice too is that if your Roman numerals and your quadrants go in this direction, then it's like a C. You are then correct, okay? So remember, by starting over here in this first one, and then draw yourself a C, and that's how you'll know you're in the right direction. Okay, and then the center right here, where you see this dot, this is called our origin. And the reason why it's the origin is because at that point is where we have our big 0. So we start at 0, either going in the x or the y axis. I want you to notice that when we're going up, we're going to go in the positive direction. And when we're going down, we're in the negative direction when I'm looking at my x-axis. So please note, this is positive. This is negative here, okay? And then the same is true here. If we're starting at 0 here, this is going to be positive. This is going to be negative, like on a number line, for example. So you can write positive here and negative here, okay? Okay. So when we are looking at actual coordinates, we're looking at an ordered pair, and you can write coordinates because I'll use that terminology a lot too. Coordinates, it's the same here. And an ordered pair is equal to 2 numbers that make up a point on the coordinate plane. And what I love about it, it's so nice and easy, is we are always starting with our x-axis, and then we're going to our y-axis. Think about alphabetical order. X comes before y. We plot x first, then y. So let's look at how we're going to actually graph this. Let's look at this question below. What quadrants are the following points in? So as we look down below right here, we're going to look at 2, 3. What quadrant is it in? Well, if I'm going to graph it, I've got my x here and my y, right? And so I'm going to start at 0, and I'm going to go right 1, 2, and up 1, 2, 3. So my point is here in quadrant 1. So we're just going to write quadrant 1. Let's now look at negative 4, 3, right here, okay? I'm going to start at 0, and I'm going to go in my x direction, minus 4. So remember, this is our negative direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to go positive 3. 1, 2, 3. It's somewhere right here, so that means we are in quadrant 2. So negative 4, 3 is in quadrant 2. Now look at 0, comma, negative 4. Okay, so 0, comma, negative 4, you're going to start on x at 0, and we're going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, it falls in between 3 and 4 right here, right? It falls in between there. So it is actually on the y-axis. Y-axis, okay? Let's look at 3, comma, negative 3. Start at my 0, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3. So for this particular point, we are in quadrant 4. And then the last one we're going to look at right here is negative 1, negative 2. Start at my 0, I'm going to go negative 1 on my x, and negative, which is down my y, and we have a quadrant 3 ordered pair right here, okay? I'm going to write this. Always use Roman numerals, okay? Always, always. Cool. All right, let's look at page 2. All right, let's graph the following ordered pairs. Well, I'm going to do the first, let's see, A and B. We can do those together. You can see that. And then what I'd like you to do is when we get to C, D, and E, I'm going to have you try to graph them and then come back to this video, okay? So remember, we're always going to start at 0. I'm going to look at the first point, which is negative 1, comma 3. Starting at my 0, I'm going to go left 1 because this is negative, okay? And I'm going to go up 3. 1, 2, 3. So my point is going to be right here for point A, okay? Let's look now at point B here. I'm going 4 in my x direction, so I'm going to start at 0, and I'm going to go in my positive direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm going to go down 6 because that is negative. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So my point is right here. Remember, this is negative, and I'm going to put my thing here. This is point B. All right, so what I want you to do is I want you to try C, D, and E on your own, and then come back here and see if you were able to graph it correctly. I'm going to just put myself some little markers here. If this helps you, please do so. Plus, minus. All right. Go ahead and pause the video and then come right back and check your answers. Okay, so for C, you should have started right here, 0, and went 1. Oh, sorry, started at 0, but then went up 1, 2, 3, 4. So our point is right here. This is our point C, okay? Point D, starting in my center, and I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, negative x, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, negative 5 right there. So this is going to be point D in the third quadrant. 2, 3, like that. And then our last ordered pair is 3, comma 5. I already know this is going to be in quadrant 1. Okay, so let's look at this. I'm going to go start here, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and if I go up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this is where point E is located. Boop, boop, boop. Just like that, okay? So you should have these points and ordered pairs graphed like this, okay? So now what I want to do is I'll have us practice and say what coordinate pairs of the following, what are the coordinate pairs of the following points? So let's look at the first one here. F, right here, F, okay? And you should be writing something like this, and then there should be an X and a Y, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and write here like this, and I've got an X and a Y. When you're trying to figure out where a point is, always start at 0, and then always start with your x direction. So this is -1, 2, 3. Okay, so -3 in my x direction. And now I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to go up. Positive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So -3, positive 6. All right, go ahead and try for G, H, I, and J. Pause your video, and then come right back here and see if you got the same answers I did. Okay, for G, hopefully you got your answers now. For G, I'm going to start at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, comma, and I'm going to start at 4 and go 1, 2, 3, 4, comma 3. For H, right here, let's figure out what we're going to do here. I'm going to draw my little ordered pairs. All right, I started at 0. I stay at 0. I don't move left or right. And I'm going to go down 1, 2. So going down means I'm going a -2. Okay, remember, we can put negative, positive. That's going to help you. Positive, negative. For I, I'll start at my 0. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I should have -5. And we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ah, that's nice. -5, -5. And the last one, J, right here. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the positive direction. And 1, 2, 3, 4 in the negative y direction. And those are my coordinate pairs for the following points. Okay? All right. So for the very last thing here, oh, and by the way, when I ask you for this, do not connect the points. They are all separate, okay? This is not a connect the dot. Thank you. Ta-da. All right. Now, this one's going to be a little tricky, kind of something for fun. See if you can follow the directions and find point G and point F, okay? So go ahead and pause the video if you want. I'll read the story to you first. I'll read it, and then you see if you can follow along while I read it to you, okay? And then I'll solve it. So start at the origin. I will give you a hint. Where's the origin? Right in the center where it's 0. Start at the origin and move 4 units to the right and 3 units up. Draw a dot and label it F. So if you did that, you would start here and you would move 4 units to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 3 units up. 1, 2, 3. You should have your dot right here. Okay. 2, 3, 4. So right here. And this should be point F. Okay. From this point, okay, so you're going to start from this point, move 6 units down and 7 units to the left. Draw a dot and label it G. Okay. Once you've labeled it G, what is the coordinate pair of G? So your G should be, and your coordinate G should be right here. And you should have found that G is -3, -3, which puts you in quadrant 3. Okay. So hopefully this has been a really good review of the coordinate plane. The next thing we have is just a quick review homework on graphing coordinate planes. And then once you're done with that, come see me. All right. Have a good one. Thank you. Bye.